You knew my friend Sharon Gilmore, didn't you? She died on these stairs. She fell all the way down to the bottom. It was an accident, they said. You and I know that that's not true. Don't we, Mr. Stewart?
Or rather, Miss Bennett.
Good morning, Mr. Stewart. How was your meeting with Mr. Westmore last night?
Fine. You know Mr. Westmore, do you?
I didn't realize he delivered your mail to you. By the way, did he happen to mention whether or not he'd been able to acquire Burns's house?
No, he didn't. He said he was rather interested.
You know, Mr. Stewart, something's just struck me as being rather odd.
What's that?
Doreen Burns. Mr. Westmore wanted to buy her house and she refused to sell. Then she was threatened by an unknown male officer and had to be released from solitary, obviously for her own protection. And then last night at the hotel, Mr. Westmore arrives and hands you a rather large envelope.
I don't see what what Westmore and the pub has got to do with all this.
You must admit it's rather interesting. Now, Burns happens to sell her house as well. Oh, by the way, Mrs. Davidson's calling a staff meeting later this morning to discuss the whole incident. I'll see you there.
Why bother the governor? She's a pretty busy woman.
Not too busy for this.
You're going to look a fool, Vera. I had private business with Westmore, nothing to do with anyone in this prison.
Okay, tell her that.
Vera, I thought we were supposed to be friends.
You seem to have some very peculiar friends.
You mean Westmore? He's all right.
It doesn't seem right to me. What was he doing pressurizing Doreen into selling her house?
He offered her a perfectly good price. Now, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. Unless it turns out you're getting a cut on the side. You're supposed to be in the prison service, not real estate.
I'm telling you, everything was above board.
If that's so, you've nothing to hide from Mrs. Davidson.
Come on, Vera, there's got to be some pickings in this lousy game. You know what it's like. I mean, the scum that we've got to look after, the abuse we've got to take. You've been taking abuse from these vindictive bitches for years. Don't you think you're worth more than the mere pittance that they pay you?
I'm quite satisfied with my salary, thank you.
Are you? Well, I'm not. I deserve more out of this game, and I'm going to make sure that I get it.
Have you been leaning on Doreen Anderson?
Why, what do you mean?
Intimidating her.
Good God, no. Only tried to point out to her the wonderful business opportunity that was being presented to her. I mean, $100,000 for a normal suburban house, that's a damn good price. If anything, I was doing her a favor.
And yourself no harm.
Okay, sure, so I did get a little bit of commission.
We're not here to get little bits of commission. I'll have to tell the governor.
Yeah, well, you do that. I can't say that I'm not disappointed, though. I looked after you when that Vincent woman put you on the spot.
There's a difference. I was innocent.
Yeah, well, that makes two of us.
Mrs. Davidson trusts me.
Does she? That's why she took Kerry Vincent's word against yours, eh?
I have already spoken to Mr. Fletcher, so he knows about this. We have a very serious problem concerning one of the male staff. At least it will be serious if the accusation is true.
Who laid the complaint, Mrs. Davidson? One of the prisoners?
Indirectly, yes.
Then you can't give it any credence, can you?
Excuse me, Mrs. Davidson, but surely this concerns only the officer in question.
It would if we knew his identity.
Unspecified charges against an unspecified officer?
The charges are specific. Doreen Anderson, or Burns as she is now, is being terrorized by someone in here into selling her house.
Why does it have to be a member of staff?
You sure there's no pressure from outside? I mean, she had one visit, at least from one pretty rough-looking character.
No, Paul Reed is sure it is someone in here. Her husband asked her why she had changed her mind about the house, and the answer came back, he would have killed me.
She's not very reliable, though, inclined to fantasy a bit.
Why didn't she say who it was?
Doreen Anderson doesn't make much sense at the best of times. Scared half out of her wits, even less. I could hardly get a word out of her, much less a name.
If it is a man, there aren't many candidates.
No, that is why it is so unfair on the men who are not involved. I can only ask you to use your eyes and ears. And if you do hear anything, to let me know immediately. I don't like asking you to spy on a fellow officer. But if there is one rotten apple, we have to get it out of the barrel. Well, that is all. Good morning. Thank you for your attention.
Got a minute?
Haven't you heard? I got 10 years.
So I owe you an apology.
Yeah?
I know you didn't kill Sharon.
Well, I'm glad the penny finally dropped.
Look, I'm sorry. I thought it had to be you.
Naturally.
Don't make it easy for
Hey.
me.
What finally convinced you?
I know who really killed her.
Who?
I can't say right now.
Oh, now, come on. I know there are a few murderers on the premises, but I'd kind of like to know who's still in business.
Look, give me time, will you?
Time? Hell, the life I saved could be my own.
You're right. I've promised Dora I wouldn't say anything. Look, I'm sorry, honey. We can't let him get away with this. Jock Stewart killed her.
Why, for God's sake?
Well, she must have heard him heading Doreen about the house. You know, sell up or I'll beat the hell out of you.
Is that why you've been so freaked out? Why didn't you tell someone?
He'd have killed me.
Is that why you agreed to sell?
I had to be.
You should have told one of the screws.
Who would have believed me? It was me against him. He'd already told me that he'd knocked off Sharon and they were saying it was an accident. I didn't want an accident to happen to me. And now she's gone and told everybody and it's going to get back to him and I only have to be in solitary just once and he'll get me.
Oh, stop worrying, Dor. You got friends. We'll see you're all right, love.
Yeah, we're going to see that he gets his.
Yeah, how? He's as smooth as butter.
Well, if we could set him up, then the screws would see what a murdering bastard he really is. Are you with me, Bea?
I'll think about it.
Don't be. Maybe you'll leave me alone now I'm going to sell the house.
And that's going to make everything all right, is it? Not in my books, it's not. Now, are you going to help me set him up or not?
I said I'd think about it. Don't worry, kid. Nothing's going to happen to you.
Thanks for not telling the governor, Vera.
Only through lack of proof. You did threaten Anderson, didn't you?
She overreacted, that's all.
You must have thrown a scare into her. Perhaps I've proof enough. Anderson's condition, her husband's statement, plus me seeing you with Westmore. Well, that all adds up to a fairly convincing body of evidence.
You can discount Anderson. She's a rat bag. Just look at her history. Look, I'd go and see the governor myself, but I've already been in front of a royal commission.
You were innocent, of course.
Of course. Of course I was. I was acquitted. But any more suspicion coming my way and I could lose my job. Now, don't do that to me, Vera.
I couldn't care less if you lost your job. Men shouldn't be working here anyway.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you half the commission if you keep your mouth shut. That's half of 10% of $100,000. Keep moving, ladies. We don't want that gourmet meal getting cold now, do we? You get any complaints, Burns? Or are you quite happy with the way things are?
Doreen's not that cheerful, Mr. Stewart.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, she's been pushed around a bit lately.
Has she? By who?
We thought you might know that.
You're a quick man with a hard push, aren't you, Mr. Stewart?
No lodging. Come on, move along. All of you, come on, get on your way.
Did you break Sharon's neck before you threw her down the stairs? Or did the fall do it?
I said move it. That breakfast bell went minutes ago.
Sharon was a pretty girl, wasn't she? That how you get your kicks, killing pretty girls?
What's she trying to do? Get into the pound for life.
You know, there was a whore in here who said you had quite a reputation for beating up the girls. What did you do to Sharon?
What's this, Bryant?
You know, no one was watching you. You didn't give her a chance, did you? All you did was give her a quick push from behind.
That's enough of that, Bryant. All right, women, move. You heard me, move! You're supposed to exercise control over these women.
Oh, the only way to stop that crazy woman is with a fist. But I raise one finger and immediately I'm the heavy. I tell you, man just can't win.
What was that about Gilmore?
Oh, Brian's absolutely bonkers. You know that.
Aren't you going to put her on report?
It's not worth the trouble.
You are accusing him of killing Sharon Gilmore?
Well, it's not up to me to accuse another officer. I'm merely saying it ought to be looked into.
Another allegation from a prisoner.
Yes, but he didn't want the allegation heard. Not by you. If he'd had a clear conscience, he'd have put that woman on a charge straight away.
Well, he certainly should have.
There are a few things about Mr. Stewart you don't know. He is involved in the sale of Anderson's house. I saw him accepting money from Westmore, who's been pressuring her to sell.
You are sure of your facts, Vera?
He admitted it. Said it was a business deal, all above board.
All above board, indeed. We can guess how he persuaded Doreen.
I know this doesn't make him guilty of murder, but it does show he's crooked.
And possibly violent. He terrified Doreen. I want to see her immediately after lunch, Vera. We have to get this sorted out.
I should have done what you did.
What, taken on a 7-year stretch?
Taken up a trade. You know, painting or writing or singing or something. You're not listening, are you?
Helen, listen, I've got a lot of work to do.
Well, finish your drink.
Look, thanks for the gin, thanks for the flowers, and thanks for getting the hell out of here. Come
Well,
on.
I haven't said that
No,
I was...
but you're just about to.
Oh, okay. You don't have to hint. Good.
Listen, I'll just do it some other time, okay?
I'll come back this hour.
Yeah.
No, maybe you better ring me. Look, there's my number.
Very nice.
And if you feel like a booze up, you get in touch with your old mate, Helen.
Okay, mate, come on. Oh, she cute.
Oh, you're a funny girl, Carrie.
Oh, yeah.
You're a funny kind of pro, and you're a funny kind of painter, and it beats me. Well, I'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.
This man, Harry Byrne, had you had any contact with him previously?
No, Mrs. Davidson.
What did he want with you?
Well, it was about my mum's house. He wanted me to sell it.
Mr. Stewart was at that interview, Mrs. Davidson.
No one had approached you to sell the house previously?
Well, Mr. Westmore had.
The solicitor?
Yeah.
But not Mr. Stewart? Did he ask you to sell the house after the interview,
I didn't
Doreen?
say he did.
Just calm down. We would appreciate your help.
But I was going to sell it anyway. I wanted to sell, because while I've had that house, I've had nothing but trouble. Nobody's safe. They're not me, not Kevin, not anyone.
If you are being harassed into selling, you have only to tell me, Doreen. I will see that you have no further trouble. Very well. It is your house. There is one other thing. It has been suggested that Sharon Gilmore's death was not an accident.
Well, the cops said it was an accident.
Well, the police had not heard Judy Bryant on the matter. You heard her this morning? Why did she not tell the police when they were here?
Well, she thought B had done it till then.
But now she has more reliable information?
Speak up, Burns. If you have anything to say, tell us.
Whoever it was, you will come to no harm.
Oh, Mrs. Davidson, I feel sick. Can I go and lie down?
But it was you who threatened the girl.
Did she say so?
Obviously not. She was too frightened.
Well, that's hardly evidence, is it?
Miss Bennett has come up with something more substantial. Your connection with the man who tried to buy her house.
So I know a few people in real estate, so what?
You were seen receiving money from him.
Yeah, money that I'd already lent him, that's right.
Mr. Stewart, we must not only be honest, we must be seen to be honest. Your conduct has been open to too many interpretations.
If you say so.
And your explanation's far too glib for my liking. It is not for me to decide the extent of your involvement in what is possibly extortion. That is for the police. But I can have you transferred back to Pentridge. I shall put in my report to the department, and they can decide what to do.
Cite me, I suppose.
You should choose a job more suited to your talents. Real estate, perhaps? You know the way out. Sergeant Tegan, Erica Davidson. I may have some more information for you about Sharon Gilmore's death.
Look, your average screw might be weak or greedy, but not Laughing Boy. I reckon he's psycho.
You know, if we could just get them to see his true colours once, the real Jock Stewart.
He's too smart for you to make him blow his cool.
Well, I can give it the old college try.
Oh, good luck. The way you're going, you won't last a month out.
Yeah, another accident, eh?
Well, he's just the boy to do it. He'll probably spread the word that you killed yourself over Sharon.
Well, what do you think? The halfway house?
Yes, if you can get her in there.
I have Mr. Westmore wanted to see Doreen about her house.
The house again.
He's got a contract of sale all ready for her signature.
Well, we can't let her sign if she's under duress, can we?
Well, there's no further threat to Doreen. She doesn't have to sell the house.
No, but her husband has been threatened.
Yes, it's Kevin she seems to be worried about.
Yeah, would you mind if I had a talk to her before she sees this Mr. Westmore?
Well, certainly not, if you think it will help. Let Mr. Westmore cool his heels in the interview room, Mrs. Jackson.
Shouldn't we have told her about Jock Stewart?
I'd rather the staff didn't know whilst they still have to work with him.
Ah, yes, of course. Yes, it wouldn't be very good for morale at that, would it?
Well, you took your time.
Listen, you all heard Judy heavying Jock this morning.
Yeah, and he just stood there and took it.
On account of it happens to be true.
Why don't we dob him in?
Well, do you think anyone's going to take our word against her screws? No way.
What are we going to do then, Bee?
Judy thinks he'll blow his cover if she keeps monstering him.
She's not going to make old bones.
Not unless we help her. Now, listen, I don't want her ever left alone with him. So if you see him hanging around her, one of us has got to hang around. So if anything happens, we can give a bloody good yell. Oh, hello, Mr. Reed. How are you?
I want Doreen.
You can't have her. She's a married woman now.
Come on, Doreen. There's a Mr. Westmore here to see you. He's got some documents for you to sign.
Yeah, I told him I'd sell the house.
Well, you don't have to sell it if you don't want to.
Well, I haven't got much choice, Mr. Reed.
Yes, you have. The police have been told about your problems with certain people, and you've got nothing more to worry about there.
Yeah, but there's nobody looking after Kevin, and the police said that it was vandals who damaged his
Police
van.
will be checking that as well, I promise you.
Well, I know my mum wouldn't have liked me to sell it.
Okay, don't sell it.
Well, do I have to tell Mr. Westmore?
I'll tell him for you if you like.
Oh, gee, that'd be beaut. Thanks, Mr. Reed.
Why don't you sit down, Mr. Westmore?
How long am I to be kept waiting?
Mr. Reed is talking to Doreen now.
Reed?
The social worker here?
What concern is it of his? This is merely a business transaction between myself and Mrs. Burns.
Ah, Mr. Westmore.
Where's Mrs. Burns?
She's asked me to pass on a message to you, the sale of the house. It's not on.
I'd prefer to speak to her personally.
Well, she doesn't want to see you.
And nevertheless, I must insist.
I'm sorry you can't see a prisoner without their consent.
I have made a very substantial offer on her house. The party concerned has been remarkably generous.
He's being remarkably persistent, too, isn't he?
Is that any concern of yours?
No, it isn't. But Doreen is my concern. She has been harassed to a point of almost having a nervous breakdown. Her husband's life has been threatened. Mr. Westmore, as a solicitor, you'd be familiar with the word extortion, wouldn't you?
Are you making an accusation?
No, just asking a question.
Just as well. There is a law against slander, you know.
Yes. You might inform your party that his ideas of correct business procedure are being viewed with some concern by the police, and a full investigation has been mounted.
I am not privy to his business practices. Merely an intermediary. His legal advisor.
Then you might legally advise him to stay away from Doreen and her husband.
I assure you, I had no idea he was involved in anything shady.
Oh, if you say so.
Good afternoon.
Well, if it isn't the lady killer. You weren't near those stairs, were you, Jock? Nowhere near those stairs when Sharon was killed? Murderer! Murdering bastard! I hope you're frying hell, you bloody butcher!
Right. Have you gone mad?
He killed her. He's the one.
Now, I know you're upset, but you must be reasonable. Sharon's death was accidental. She fell.
She was pushed.
You don't know that.
He did it to keep her quiet, I know.
You need any help, Mrs. Jason?
Oh, you'll get yours, you murdering bastard!
That's quite enough. Now, you listen to me. You've got to stop these crazy accusations.
I'll prove he killed her!
Stop it! Now, if you don't come to your senses, Bryant, you'll end up in the isolation block. Permanently. Problems with Bryant this morning?
Jock Stewart did.
Did he report it?
Not that I know of.
Oh, that's funny. I just caught Bryant yelling abuse at him. He just ignored it. You know, he's too good-natured for his own good.
Is that what he is?
He'll have problems if he doesn't get tougher. The women can tell us, Softy.
Softy? He's about as soft as a death adder.
Oh, come on, Vera, he's all right. What have you got against him?
Guess who's been hassling Anderson over the house? Jock.
Can't believe it.
And he tried to bribe me to keep me quiet.
Do the women know?
Of course they do. Why do you think he's having all this trouble? It's not only Bryant. They're all calling him a crook to his face.
But Bryant called him a killer.
Oh, crook, killer, extortionist. Whatever he is, he's no use in running this place. Soon there'll be no discipline at all.
Why didn't you report the woman?
Brian, she was quite rational. I just let her rave on.
She said that you'd killed Sharon Gilmore, that you'd admitted as much to one of the prisoners.
The woman needs psychiatric help. Look, I've already made my statement. I don't see why I should change it. Miss Bennett and I saw Bryant standing over the body. Now, I think Miss Bennett has already verified that, hasn't she?
Since then, Miss Bennett has become a little concerned about your business contacts, Mr. Stewart.
Well, Vera's a very nice woman, but you know what spinsters are.
So you deny that you received money from a man named Westmore. We know that he came here to try and persuade Burns to sell her house. Perhaps he convinced you to persuade her. For a cut.
Burns asked my advice on selling the house, and I gave it to her. If she's screaming extortion now, it just shows how unstable she really is.
But you did receive a rake-off. Miss Bennett saw money changing hands.
Miss Bennett saw Westmore paying me money. Money that I had already lent him. Why don't you ask him?
We have. You seem to have quite a talent for getting into trouble, Mr. Stewart. You walked away from a Royal Commission inquiry into your hijinks at Pentridge, I believe.
Falsely accused, Sergeant. Quite common in the prison service.
You seem very relaxed for a man who knows what happens to a warder if he goes behind bars.
You threatening me, Sergeant? If you are, I think you should have a little stronger evidence. Something a little more valid than gossip from a couple of hysterical women.
I have spoken to the department about you, Mr. Stewart. I have been instructed to relieve you of your duties immediately, pending an internal inquiry.
Condemned without a hearing, huh?
Oh, you will get your hearing. Your guilt is not our immediate concern, but your effect on Wentworth is. You seem unable to maintain discipline. My officers already have 2 women on report because of you.
That's hardly my fault, though, is it?
The service is only as strong as its weakest link, Mr. Stewart. That is all.
It's not going to be easy breaking him down.
I can't wait till I see him again tomorrow.
You expect another visit? But you had one this morning.
Well, they come from the country. It's not as though they lived in Melbourne.
Look, the screws wouldn't care if they lived in Timbuktu. They're not supposed to come popping in here whenever they feel like it.
How many visitors have I had in the last 20 years? Don't you reckon they owe me a few now that I've got a family?
Oh, Lizzie, you're mad.
Yeah, it's him.
Brian, I want a word with you.
Do you now?
Yeah. Outside.
Got the big A, did you, Mr. Stewart?
No, they're just transferring me, that's all.
They should have hung you.
Well, I don't think they go as far as that. They might ask me to resign, of course, but that's okay with me. Because I'm pretty sick and tired, in any case, prodding big fat cows like you around.
You know something? The police are onto you, Jock.
In fact, they've asked me to help them with their investigations. And I'm a pretty helpful chap, as you well know. You see, that accident of Gilmore's seems to have them a little bit flummoxed.
Accident, my ass. You killed her.
You know something, Bryant? The staff are pretty well convinced that you need psychiatric help. Why don't you just show them all how right they are, huh?
You're gonna get yours, you know that?
No, you see, because it's only your word against mine. And you're as nutty as a fruitcake. Now, I'm going to walk right out of here, free as a bird. Forget the whole thing. But you're going to be locked up for a long, long time. Long enough to go start ravers. Shouldn't have done that, Brian. I was very, very naughty. You know, for that, I'm going to have to tell you the whole truth. You see, I did kill her. Yeah, I did. You want to know why? Because she overheard me heavying Anderson. And then the silly little slut thought she was going to blackmail me. So I stopped her on the landing. And I just put my hands round her throat. And I said to her, listen, how about giving us a wee kiss before I chuck you down the stairs? You should have heard her. She promised me everything. And then I said to her, sorry, kid, I'm just not in the mood. I gave her one hard shove. And you know something else? She made a sound when she hit the bottom. Sounded like one of those full hot water bottles. See you around, kid. It's been nice knowing you.
What did he say to you? He killed her. He told me he did. He was laughing when he said it.
Don't let him get you alone, Jude.
Oh, there's no chance of that. He's leaving Wentworth.
Thank goodness for that.
And the cops aren't doing anything.
Well, what can they do? As he said, it's his word against mine, and who the hell am I? Oh, poor Sharon. A poor little kid.
Well, at least they're chucking him out, Jude.
You know, when he was in here, I could have got at him somehow. I would have got him on the stairs. I would have got him in the garden with a pick. I would have got him somehow. But now there's nothing I can do. I'm stuck in here.
Oh, Dave.
Oh, you do feel good. Oh. How's it all going?
Oh, good, good. I'm adjusting. I went to the supermarket this morning. Do you know how many different kinds of shampoo there are? 25.
No.
Oh, don't. Okay.
Hey, how's the work?
It's coming along.
Well, don't I get to see it? You've changed your style.
Yeah, I'm experimenting a bit.
Yeah, well, don't. Just give the people what they want. What you were doing was fine. Just keep it like that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to improve it, that's all.
Yeah, well, you don't want to improve yourself out of the market, do you?
Guess you're right.
Yep, I am. Now, listen, you stick with me, you'll be wearing mink. Just believe me.
I'll be wearing Wentworth blue again if they catch you here. Look, why can't you come and visit me openly instead of having to sneak in at night?
Now, listen, love, we just can't risk your parole, can we?
But it is wonderful to be free again. Oh, you know, to have money in the bank, a place like this to work in. Someone like you. Oh, David. David. It's so long since someone's held me, you know? Loved me. You're not going to let me down, are you?
I've never disappointed a woman yet.
No, I didn't mean that.
Hmm?
It's just that, you know, I'm scared. It's as if I can only breathe through you, paint through you. I'm just nothing by myself.
Listen, don't worry. It'll be all right.
You lost something, Joe.
A job, I think.
What's happened?
Relieved of his duties, pending an internal inquiry.
How did that come about?
Guess the women needed some sort of scapegoat. Had to be me. Full internal inquiry, the whole box and dice, thanks to Mrs. Davidson.
Well, still, she would have needed pretty good grounds for that.
Guess she was listening to Burns. I'll tell you something, Jimmy. Never tried and do anything to help these silly bitches in here. All I did was tell Anderson that $100,000 was a damn good price for a house. Now she claims that I was having her.
Oh, still, you've been through one of these before, haven't you?
A Royal Commission, yeah. And after that, you're marked for life, whether you're guilty or not. Even decent blokes like yourself start thinking no smoke without fire.
No, of course not.
Ah, come on, Jimmy, you must have thought yourself. Must be him. Who else could it possibly be?
Well, I'd never condemn any man without proof.
Well, you're the only one, then. No, Vera was right. This is no job for a man. These sluts are out to knock you the minute you step in the door. And that's staff and crims, both of them. Still, why tell you? You've been through it yourself.
Yes, I must admit I've had a few problems.
I know. So long, Jimmy.
Good luck, Jock.
Thanks.
What are you going to do now?
It's been suggested that I take up real estate.
I wish you could take me out to dinner.
So do I. But you know I can't. That's impossible.
Oh, can't you change the conditions of the parole? I mean, you are my manager. How can you be expected to look after my affairs if you can't have any contact?
Well, this is borrowed time. We just have to accept that.
You could find a way. You found a way to get me out of jail.
Yeah, that was a once-er. You can't manipulate public opinion all the time or all that easily.
But I'm still news, aren't I? I mean, just, tell the papers we love each other and that it's only red tape keeping us apart. And, well, they'd do it if I was a Russian ballet dancer.
Yeah, they probably would. But you are not a Russian ballet dancer. The fact of the matter is that you're very lucky to be out of tour.
If you loved me, you'd try.
So we can't use all the journos all the time. If we don't ease up, we lose our credibility.
Oh, and that'd affect my sales, wouldn't it?
Yes. Not that matters.
Mm.
Now listen, you've been released on parole, right?
Mm.
Well, that means there's a big question mark hanging over your head. Now, what you have to do is prove to them that you're absolutely reliable. Now, the best way you can do that is to finish your work on time. That'll impress the parole board more than anything else, man. Promise.
Work?
Yeah, that's it. Paint your way out of it. Just try. For us.
I'm here to see Mrs. Birdsworth.
Weren't you here yesterday?
Yes.
Yes, well, I'm afraid Mrs. Birdsworth's had her weekly quota of visits.
Yeah, well, I'm her daughter, and I come down from the country. Marcia Huntley?
Well, our Mrs. Birdsworth's on view only once a week, didn't she tell you?
No, she said it'd be all right. As welcome as the flowers was her actual words.
Yeah, well, Lizzie's been here long enough to know the regulations by now. You can see her next week, but not today, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but I got to go back tonight. I don't know when I'll be down next. She was expecting me. Well, I'd hate to disappoint her. She's so old and frail, you know.
Well, she's old, all right, but hardly frail. All right, I'll take you through. But get it right next time,
yes,
okay?
Yes.
Sign in, please.
Why didn't you bring Josie with you?
I just didn't want to upset her, Mum.
She was all right last time.
Oh, no, not the jail. I mean, well, we got to say goodbye, because going back to the country tonight.
What do you mean? You've only just got here.
Yeah, I know, but I just can't afford it anymore. I can't afford the boarding house anymore.
Haven't you got any mates you could stay with?
No. We're country people, Mum.
Listen, Marcy, you've got to come to the city. We got a lot of time to make up. You, me, and Josie. You should see her, Mr. Fletcher. She's a real little sweetheart. You got to come down here and then we can see each other every day.
Once a week, Lizzie. You ought to know that by now.
Oh, don't take any notes of him. His bark's worse than his bite, isn't it, Mr. Fletcher?
Look, Mum, I really would love to stay down here, but I can't. I mean, I've only got my widow's pension and the child allowance.
What you going to do then?
I don't know. Maybe Mr. Reed could fix us up with another travel voucher, something like that.
Oh, God, that'd take forever. Listen, I've got some money coming to me. 20 years and all for nothing. They've got to make it up to me. I'll see you right.
No, I couldn't take your money, Mum.
You'd be doing me a favour. It's only money. What's it worth if I can't see me granddaughter grow up?
No, it's good of you, but I can't. I can't.
Come on. Time, ladies, please.
Goodbye, love.
Goodbye, Mum.
Come on, Lizzie.
And we'll be seeing each other again sooner than you think.
Come on, girls. Move it, Cheryl.
Mrs. Jackson, have you seen Judy around?
She's gone to see the governor. Why?
Well, I think someone should keep an eye on Jude. Did you see her last night? She was ticking like an unexploded bomb.
I'm sure Mrs. Davidson can cope. You get back to work there. Oh, what's up now, Lizzie?
Oh, nothing, Mrs. Jackson. But what am I gonna do?
Well, you could blow your nose, for starters. Keep it.
But it's yours, Bea.
I just lost interest in it.
Bea, Marcy just came to see me. She's thinking back to the bush.
Well, that's where they live, isn't it?
Make you laugh, wouldn't it? All that money coming to me and I can't even afford to see my own family.
Well, how much are you short?
A couple of $100 and Marcy would have no worries.
Why don't you ask Doreen for a loan? She's got money lying around the bank doing nothing.
Where is she?
Oh, good. Faster than a speeding bullet.
I don't know, Lizzie.
Oh, come on, love, I'll pay it back.
I know you would, Lizzie, but see, I've got to give some to Kevin, because Jock Stewart's mate's made an awful mess of his truck, and I know he'll get the insurance, but that won't be tomorrow.
Oh, come on, Dor. Tomorrow might be too late. I've got to see Josie again. I could be dead by the time they come back.
Oh, all right, Lizzie. I don't suppose Kevin needs it all, but how are we going to get to it?
Mrs. Jackson might know.
Well, Mr. Reed might be able to arrange something.
Can we go to the bank straight away and get it?
You won't be going to the bank, Lizzie. It's Doreen's money, after all. Now, you get back to work. You come with me, Doreen, and see what Mr. Reed has to say.
Doesn't his own confession mean anything to you? Jock Stewart told me he killed her.
Legally, that confession means nothing at all. No one else can corroborate it.
But I know he killed her.
For what reason?
Look, everybody in the whole damn prison knows that Stewart was heavying Doreen about selling her house. Now, my guess is that Sharon
That's
overheard...
all it is, Bryant, a guess.
Oh, my God. You people are unbelievable. Does a person lose all of their rights just because they're in prison? Can an innocent woman be slaughtered just like a nano because she's behind bars?
That she fell. No one can prove that she was pushed. The coroner has to bring in a verdict of accidental death. The same would apply if it happened in her own home.
Oh. You lot really look after your own, don't you? Why should I worry about Jock Stewart? He's just another maggot in this whole rotten system.
I shall talk to you again when you are calmer. Take her away, Mrs. Knox.
Yeah, that's right. You just sweep it under the carpet. You don't let anyone know what's really happening at Wentworth.
Well, I was just on my way out. I hope this is important.
Well, it's about Lizzie's newfound family. Now, she wants to see them, but they can't afford to stay in town.
So can I lend Lizzie some money?
That's your money, Doreen. But I can't advise you to lend it.
Oh, but Lizzie said she'd pay it back as soon as she got her compo.
Yeah, well, that could be months coming through. And you're going to have a lot of expenses before you can take over the house. Solicitors' fees, rates mounting up. Don't you think you should get used to having money before you start giving it away?
Oh, but I want to help Lizzie. And if she doesn't see Marcy and Josie before they go back to the bush, well, she might never see them again.
Wait just a minute. Is there anybody living in your house at the moment?
No, no one. See, it's been empty since my mum died. It's too big for Kevin on his own.
Well, there's the answer then. If accommodation's the problem, why can't Marcy and Josie live there until we get something sorted out?
There you are, Doreen. That's the perfect solution.
Oh, yeah, they could stay there. Oh, I should have thought of that. Gee, Mr. Reed, could you tell Marcy, before she goes back to the bush?
I'm on my way over to see Kerry Vincent. But I can call in on my way home if that's okay.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Reed. Your blood's worth bottling.
Come on, everybody out.
Oh, it's you.
Yep. Your friendly neighborhood parole officer. May I come in?
Surely.
Thank
Do
you.
you want a cup of tea?
No, thank you. Yes, well, we have been busy, haven't we?
What do you reckon?
I find that very disturbing, actually.
Good, that's what I want.
Oh, yeah, well, how are things on the outside?
Fantastic. I've got so much to do. Listen, sit down.
That looked very much like a man's wallet.
Yeah, it's just a friend.
Any reason why you shouldn't tell me who it is?
No, it's just a friend. Look, I'm not back on the game or anything.
I wasn't suggesting that you were. And nevertheless, I'd like to have a look at that. As your parole officer, I need to know who your friends are. Thank you. David Austin.
Yeah, he was only here for a
He
minute.
shouldn't have been here at all. One of the conditions of your parole is that you don't associate with David Austin.
But do they have to know?
Yes. Yes, I'm afraid they do.
Well, how'd it go? Did Davo believe you?
She couldn't have cared less. Said I had to have proof. They're covering up,
And you told her that?
In spades.
Oh, that's going to be terrific if you ever need her on side.
Yeah, well, who says I ever will?
Thought you Yanks had a saying. You can't fight City Hall.
You can if you're mad enough.
Oh, sure you can fight. I was talking about winning.
Yeah, well, they'll know they've had a fight by the time I'm finished with them. Davidson, Stewart, the whole damn prison system. They're going to pay for Sharon's death in full.
And whatever happened to that old-time religion? I thought you were into turning the other cheek.
Not now, not over this. Look, Bea, I know you didn't like Sharon much. But if we let Jock Stewart get away with this, who's to say some other smart screw isn't going to try the same? And you know what? You might find that your life won't be worth that.
You know you're not wrong. And we can't let him get away with that.
go down to the park. Not down here for pleasure. This is a business trip. Would it cost much? Can't afford it. Forget it. You said we were going to get some money from Grandma. Yeah, it's going to take us time. We haven't got it now. I wish she was my grandma instead of being just business. I wish we didn't have to go back home.
If wishes were horses, beggars would ride. Yeah, come on.
Hello, Mr. Reed.
Well, what are you two up to?
Going back to the bush, I'm afraid.
Must you? Lizzie's found a place for you to live.
Wow, that's fantastic. But how?
Well, it belongs to a friend of hers. It's only temporary accommodation, but it's available if you want it.
We do want it, don't we, Mum?
Okay, well, listen, can you hang on here until I get the key?
Oh, of course.
Fine, I'll be back in about an hour.
Oh, Grandma's got us a house.
She's not your grandma. Well, it is only temporary. But things are working out, aren't they?